Hello.
Hi Andy, how are you?
How's it going?
I wanted to also play with my background a little bit. I was thinking that let me,
You can edit your background in there a setting button?
yes, it's here.
Yeah, there is a virtual background configuration. You could choose it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you use the same background as me. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so David, how's it going these days?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Everything is fine. Doing very well. I hope this
Okay.
background is okay. Do you like this background?
This background is pretty good. I love its style.
All right, all right.
Yeah, because now it's at night in my country in Taiwan. Yeah,
Okay,
so I rent a free space here
okay.
to co-host the episodes with you.
Oh wow, wow. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
thanks for your time on the weekend for this episode. Okay,
yeah.
so how about just start this right now?
What do you say?
I mean,
Yes,
maybe we could just start right
yes,
now. Okay, yeah. Okay,
yes.
yeah, before that, hello guys, I'm Eddie, your Agile coach. Yeah, this is my slogan in my every video. And I'm now a project manager working in a game company who takes charge of organizing project development and lead a team to take Scrum and Kanban practices. I was once a software engineer, a Scrum master, and now a project manager. In fact, I have many takes on me. And today, I'm glad to invite David to join this episode and share his ideas about the topic, building psychological safety in agile teams. Hi, David. How about introducing yourself first?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Andy. I'm excited to be here. My name is David. I'm an agile coach, project manager, senior project manager. Had significant project management experience over 2 decades
Mhm.
now. Worked across different industries in project and program management. Been involved in digital transformations, cybersecurity, digital transformations. Actually, one of my major forte. Been involved also in coaching teams in agile
Mm.
methodologies across the continents. I have worked in Africa and now I am in the United Kingdom. And I've also done some remote work across the Middle East, but totally remote and far and small and in between. So I've got all of those wonderful experiences. I also do spiritual coaching work, and I also
Mhm.
help individuals find purpose and direction as a personal vocation for me. So I'm excited to
Mhm.
be here, and thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to coaching a team, I bet your experience must be more senior than me. So I really expect your sharing today. And
Yep.
yeah, well, when I was investigating today's topic, there were many memories popping up in my brain because
Yeah.
in agile methodologies, we usually don't overly emphasize the importance of the term, but it is such an important one that might impact how you build a self-organized team. For example, when I was a Scrum Master, I always had to protect the team from being interrupted by our manager because I know she was used to demand and control that often cause members to get passive to selected tasks. And I'll be suffered from the process as I had to reach a balance between the manager and the team to ensure the team could deliver working software in an iterative and incremental manner. I believe whoever you are, you need a sense of security to empower yourself and make mistakes without fear. And that is exactly the topic we're going to talk about, psychological safety. So, David, how about sharing your ideas with us? What is your psychological safety to you? What is your definition about that?
Yeah, psychological safety is something I am very passionate about, particularly within agile teams.
Mhm.
The reason for that is that without safety, there can be no productivity. There can be no true productivity. If people don't feel safe, it's one of the basic uh, uh, elements of human existence, one of the
Mm.
basic backgrounds that
Yeah,
people need to have as a support system. It's a major deal, it's a major dimension of human existence. Safety is a component of the human spirit or the human soul that enables man to explore.
yeah.
If we are not safe, the conversations of expansion, the
Mm.
conversations of growth, the conversations of wealth, the conversations of greatness, the conversation of exploring for new frontiers cannot happen. There are only
Yeah.
two modes to be with respect to this as a human being. You're either in the fear mode or the safety mode.
Mhm.
When you are in the fear mode, survival is the name of the instinct that comes up, whether at an individual level, at a team level, or at a corporate level, or at a national or governmental level, and also at a global level. For example, during the pandemic, the whole world was in survival mode. So everybody was in survival mode. Biology says organisms tend to shrink, we tend to
Mhm.
conserve, we don't want to
Yeah.
explore. The
Mm.
safe mode or the safety mode is the mode of faith, is the mode of exploration, is the mode where we want to try out new things, where we want to innovate, where we want to create, where we want to be more productive. So you can't be in the two modes simultaneously. So I'm passionate about teams and individuals within the agile community, and with the stress of business and all the attendant challenges that accompany business success and prosperity. I am passionate about how do we engineer safety, particularly psychological safety within teams, so that our release trains, our agile machines or agile teams in quote, can deliver more value in an ongoing sustainable manner. So
Mhm.
I'm passionate about that. The other thing is that psychological safety for me, therefore, is the mental space, the psychological space,
Mhm.
the tangible, effectual, calibratable place that a team will be where they are not punished for making
Mhm.
mistakes, for trying out new things, basically for attempting to succeed. Because when you attempt to succeed, things happen. When you
Mhm.
attempt to do better things, mistakes happen, people fall
Yeah.
victim,
Mhm.
circumstances change. At the end of the day, are people sufficiently safe to succeed?
Yeah.
That is psychological safety, and it is calibratable, it is palpable, everyone on the team knows. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's my definition and my sort of philosophy around the subject.
Yeah. Thanks for your sharing. You have mentioned many elements and keywords in your descriptions. I heard we should be feel safe, and it is a basic element in an agile team. And yeah, you even mentioned some elements to to continuous improvement. For example, people should not be punishment or whatever they voice out, because they need respectful suggestions, something like that, and we need a free mental space to allow mistakes to happen. Yeah, right. So for most people, even for me, now cannot give it a clear definition, because we might state a scenario from different perspectives, like their voices are heard, and they feel respectful when proposing their ideas, or they could directly point out problems without fear. Of course, these are some forms of psychologically safe workplace. But I want to share my investigation before the episode, and this was from a professor in Harvard University, Amy Edmondson. She coined the term psychological safety as a belief that one will not be punished or humiliated for speaking up with ideas, questions, concerns, or mistakes. Yeah, her definition is pretty similar to what you have mentioned. So yeah, I feel very surprised. I feel very surprised about your sharing regarding this. Yeah. So in the Scrum framework, we emphasize 5 values, and 2 of them is openness and respectful. That sounds a little abstract to people who just know it, because as I became a Scrum Master before, I've tried to encourage members to expose problems as possible as they could, because we know Scrum cannot solve problems, but Scrum can help us expose problems, right? But I found a weird phenomenon. Yeah, most people tend not to speak up or just message me what they were thinking of. In Asia, I'm not sure if similar conditions happen in UK or in other country. In Asia, we're used to hiding our ideas inside our mind because we dislike being criticized or devalued. So at the time, I felt disappointed with the situation, because it's been existing for a long time, and I had to be the enabler to speak out first. Therefore, I want to know the reasons that make this happen. What is the underlying logic that motivates individuals to share more about their thoughts and feedback? Have you ever came across similar things before? How do you recognize that and improve it?
Your question is, so that I will answer the question. And by the way, you're very right about your observation. Your question is, what are the factors that I have observed before that make people feel psychologically safe, right? In teams. This is your question, right?
No. My question is: have you ever come across similar phenomenon, like
Yes.
you found they are not psychologically safe, and you
Yes.
found some clues in your organization? How do you
Yes.
recognize the phenomenon, and how do you improve that?
Yes. Number one, I've seen it before. Not my current organization, by the way, but I've seen it before. Number one, when people who have spoken before, human beings learn by quiet assimilation. There's something called they assimilate how these are the subconscious codes of learning for human beings. There are subconscious ways that we are not even aware that we are reacting to the environment. When an organism is punished for a certain behavior, the other organisms in the colony, and I'm using these words deliberately because this is slightly evolutionary. You notice this among rats, among goats, among cows, all the way to Homo sapiens, which are human beings. You will notice this gradation across the animal kingdom. When a certain animal or a certain member of a colony is punished, and other members of the colony take note and they adjust their behavior.
Yeah.
this happens, like I said, from rats all the way up. So let's come to offices and human beings and my experience. I have seen this many times. I have seen this many, many times. Once people speak before and in the next few days, whether consciously or unconsciously, something bad happens to those who have spoken. The other persons on the till don't want to say anything. People just rein it in, and people learn. People watch what you do more than what you say. People don't even know that they are watching what you're doing. There are many psychological experiences and many experiments that effect. People watch what you do, not what you say.
Yeah.
Number two, if you're victimizing people indirectly for speaking up, people notice and then they begin to adjust. The other thing is the body language and not the speech of the exec. And that is, I'm interlinking, that's the second point. The body language of top management, especially that sets the tone for culture. You see, organizational climate and cultures are set by the top. Culture comes from the top, either directly or indirectly. So the culture of not being psychologically safe that you see in an organization, in my experience, is predicated from the top. It's typically precedented from the top. There is a precedence. So I've mentioned three things. I've mentioned observation and subconscious habits. Once somebody speaks up or a group speaks up and they are punished, people don't want to, talk anymore. Number two, number two, leadership is another reason why that happens. The disposition of leadership. And number three, linked to that, is the culture that is setting the climate, also coming from leadership. So the culture of the organization, the climate of the organization, those two things are slightly different, but they are almost along the same line. The climate you have in an organization is a symptom of the culture, and the culture typically is driven from senior management or execs. Another one are the subcultures within the teams. If you have a team where people are punished for speaking, or people feel their voices are not heard and all of that, they will stop speaking or they will stop being open. Another one is the feeling of inclusion and belonging. Inclusion is that my voice is heard, my opinion is valued. Belonging is I feel at home. So there's a positive correlation between inclusion, belonging on the other side, and how much people are open and willing to speak up, especially in psychological safety, my experience. Where there is low belonging, low inclusion, people will not generally speak up because people want to protect themselves and behave in a way that will be the best for their career and their future. So people tend to figure out whether I'm wanted here or I'm not wanted here. And it's a simple, and there are myriads of factors. There are also what you call different levels of psycho office bullies who bully people and they're just individuals who have gathered influence, or they use style to gather influence. And I meet them all the time in my work. Real hard bullies who had tackle and bully people down because they want to be the most prominent in the group. Now, in many organizations, many leadership teams lack managerial courage to deal with those things so that people can be more psychologically safe. Particularly high-performing managers are in that. There are many high-performing managers who are psychological bullies and psycho-emotional bullies who don't allow people to express themselves or who don't embody psychological safety. Now, because they are performing well and because of their performance, management or executive teams lack the managerial courage to address that behavior because they don't want them also discouraged from productivity and delivery. Because of that, management now refuses to tackle that behavior. And that's a major problem too, right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your experience is very brilliant. Yeah, you also remind me of my past experience. Yeah, because I have ever met similar situations as you said. Yeah, there was once a manager who used to insult members publicly. Yeah, so when yeah, but at the time, I just tried to integrate the Scrum framework in their team. I want to improve their working process and boost
Yeah.
their development efficiency. But I found the manager always try to insult people publicly, and other members tend not to propose their ideas.
That's not nice.
Even the manager encourage them to do so.
Mm.
They just try not to do so. So at the time, I feel very disappointed with the situation because as a Scrum Master, I always want people to share their ideas, no matter bad or good, to others because this would enable an atmosphere of continuous improvement because their voice are heard even they might not be implemented. But at least we heard it. If their suggestions are great, we could formulate the corresponding plans to improve their working model to make them better. But as you said, if the top management does not build a psychologically safe place for people to do this, just you said, they focus on what you do. They don't focus on what you said, right?
Mm.
So
Mm.
I think the culture is very important for the age of transformation to
Mm-hmm.
succeed. Yeah. So let's make a simple conclusion. A team with higher psychological safety performs better, right? If
Yeah.
members feel psychologically safe, they are willing to provide diverse perspectives to what they are seeing. And this enables sharing hidden problems in a team and further enables continuous improvement. But
Yeah.
I think our audiences would want to know more. Is there a practical approach to fostering a psychologically safe workplace? Could you please share more ideas about this?
Yes. How do you treat feedback?
Hmm? Free
How
feedback.
yes, how
Mhm.
does management I mean, how what's the behavior? Not what you
Mhm.
say with your mouth. When your team members give you feedback of any
Yeah.
type, how open are you to receiving their feedback?
Mhm.
That's the first barometer, first way I would check, and first way of improving psychological safety.
Mm.
How do you behave towards feedback? That's the first
Yeah.
one. How
Yeah, you
is the behavior
point.
in response towards feedback? Simple feedback, that's the beginning.
Yeah.
Whether constructive, whether non-constructive, how do you respond towards feedback? That's the first one. As a team, as
Mm.
an organization, and that's number two. Before I go to how you can foster, let me give you about 5 points about how to build psychological safety. Receive feedback well. That's the first one. Number two is that the feeling of belonging and inclusion must be fostered and engendered. Make people feel included, their share of voice and their opinion counts, and don't just hear what people have to say, but act on them or bring them into the conversations while you may not be able to act on them at that time. But don't ignore, don't make people feel like they're just talking and nobody's listening.
Mhm.
That's the second point. The third thing is that reward speak up philosophy. Reward it, celebrate it, Let people feel valued and engaged. You see, when people care about your business, they will give you feedback about it. So reward when people give you feedback or they speak, reward it. Don't treat them as troublemakers. Not easy in some cases to do, but it's better to actually make them feel welcome and at home. That's the third thing I like to say about how to build psychological safety. The fourth thing is that mistakes are a normal part of learning. Do not heap too much pressure on punishing mistakes. Make mistakes part of your creative growth process, not a punishable offense.
Yeah.
Not easy to do for many businessmen, particularly when the losses are tangible and they affect your lines of business. Not easy to do, but think about it. When employees know that they can dare big things for you, just think about the potential for success. And after a while, remember, not everyone leaves home to fail. I didn't come to work to make Andy angry. I didn't come to work to make Andy Enterprises fail. I came to work to succeed. I didn't come to work to break things up. No, that's the way the average person also thinks. The other part is learning and development. Coach, mentor, teach, and train. 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 Facilitate. Give people capabilities to deliver. Strengthen their delivery capabilities. Strengthen their delivery capabilities. Strengthen their delivery capabilities. Strengthen it double. Make them superior performance machines. If people are failing in an area, make it repeated development in that area. And if you had a problem with a mathematical sum or a particular model, you don't run away from it. No. You do more. You do it more. You do it more. You expose people to those exercises the more. And lastly, you need to pay attention to psychological safety and develop a curriculum, a management curriculum. And I use the word curriculum for lack of expression. You must plan and calibrate. You must do some intentional work in psychological safety. There are 4 types or 4 dimensions of psychological safety. There is within teams or 4 quadrants of psychological safety. There's learner safety, collaborator safety, challenger safety, inclusion safety. Across all these 4 areas or quadrants, you must have a way of measuring and calibrating. You calibrate it on learner safety, on collaborator safety, on inclusion safety. What are our scores? And let the team score themselves. Let everybody do a survey and score, and do this every quarter. And check the scores and investigate. Let people give you anonymous responses and calibrate your pathway. Are we at learner safety 1.0? Are we at learner safety 2.0? Are we at learner safety 3.0? Of course, that means that you know what learner safety means. That means your team members also know what learner safety would mean. It means that as a group, you know what learner safety is and you are willing to own it as an organization. Same for inclusion safety. Same for learner safety, inclusion safety. There were 4 of them I actually quoted earlier on. Make sure that you know enough about each of them: collaborator safety, challenger safety, learner safety, inclusion safety. You must, and this is not the exhaustive 4. What other kinds of safety are needed in your line of business? And you may want to calibrate this against your ideal business profile. If your team is supposed to have an inclusion safety level that is 7.0, but you are operating as a team. By the time you did your survey at 5.0, you know there's a gap, and do something to address the gap, and then measure back in about 3 to 6 months. But you must do something about safety. You cannot ignore it or think that's going to spring up by itself. You must apply intentionality and deliberateness in a meaningful way that's calibratable and business, and link safety and psychological safety to business results, and show that link clearly, because only people who are psychologically safe can give you results.
Yeah.
Those are my few points about how to build psychological safety across your teams.
Yeah, you you get several critical points that I think I should give you some. Yeah, this is another way of handle the guest feedback. Yeah, you mentioned the first point, how a management handles the employees' feedback. I feel I totally agree with this idea, because now I'm a project manager in my team, but I also coach them how to do the Scrum framework. There is an event, sprint retrospective, in this framework, and because we encourage people to provide any suggestions in this ceremony. So yeah, by the definition of sprint retrospective, we review the process, we review the tools, we review interaction and individuals. There are primarily four aspects in this ceremony, and we will list the goodness, the badness, and what should be kept, and the corresponding plan to improve the bad part. So when we will draw a 4x4 table on a whiteboard, and I would set a clear norms and expectations for the members to write down their suggestions and stick them on a board. And then we will populate all the items on the board from top to bottom and left to right to iterate all the sticky notes our members have mentioned. That's the way we handle their feedback. And especially for the bad column, we will formulate right away the improvement plan for what they complain about. That's the approach we handle their feedback. Yeah. So and I think important you mentioned that reward speak up philosophy. Yeah, yesterday I just had a spiritual perspective with my members, and because today I had to I had to co-host the episode with you, so I investigate the related videos and topics, and then I mentioned the term psychological safety. So with my members, I said I always encourage you to voice out anything bad or good in this session, because we have to point out any hidden problems from within your minds. And that's the only way we could enable continuous improvement in our team. I know this would make them respectful, because I should always ensure their voice are heard, and what I think is bad should be improved in this process, no matter just a little bad or really bad. Yeah. So anyone who just don't make dreadful mistakes will not be punished. I mean, dreadful mistakes is that maybe his mistakes cause a lot of money loss. That's definitely mistakes. But other mistakes should be allowed, because because those are inputs. Those are revenue to our continuous improvement journey. I always encourage that. But to avoid that for mistakes from happening, we will set several thresholds to avoid these situations happen. That's how we handle that. And we allow mistakes to be made along the process, because I know that's the only way we could boost our team performance, and we could become open-minded. We could become open-minded to any questions. Yeah. And one thing you mentioned, I totally agree. Coach, mentor, teach, and train. Once again, coach, mentor, teach, and train. Because, yeah, as an agile coach, we should know not all members know the process in just one time. We should repeat the process again and again, and then invite these elements and become their own elements in mind, and they could self-organize this process on their own until they no longer need us. That's my hope. Yeah. So my approach is first establish clear norms and expectations in whatever Scrum ceremonies, especially in Scrum retrospectives. And we will respond to productivity, set corresponding plan for improvements, not just say, oh, I heard your voice, but we don't do anything. That's wrong. We should do something to respond to their requirements, and actively invite input with open-minded questions. For example, how do you think about a result? Or what is your thought on this problem? These are open questions to help to intrigue more conversations among people, among members, and between me and our members. Instead of, why don't you do this or do that to make it happen? Or I think the idea is stupid. I always avoid this question, because this question will make people feel ashamed about themselves. And as time goes by, they will not to provide any suggestions. They tend to shut up, So yeah. So okay, so let's make a small summary about our conversation. We have mentioned a definition of psychological safety, some tough experience we went through in our career paths, the reason why it is so important, and some practical approaches that audiences could apply. I really appreciated that, and David could take your time here to express your ideas about the topic, as well as the experience of building psychological safety with us. I also encourage anyone who has similar situations to comment below, share your experience with us, and subscribe to this channel. Maybe you have any other things to share?
No. Thank you so much for having me, Andy. I just want to tell everyone who is a team leader out there, a Scrum Master, Agile coach, anyone who is an Agilist across any particular industry or team organization, you will benefit more from your team being psychologically safe. You're in a better
space. I
space.
really expect to co-host the similar episodes next time with you. Yeah, because
absolutely.
In Taiwan there are most people don't know the position of Agile coach or Scrum Master. Because these teams are from America, and usually it's popular in Europe or English-speaking country. In Taiwan, our language is Mandarin, so most people don't know that. They are very unfamiliar with the term. So thanks for your share today. If you want to know more about that, please refer to the description. I've listed this full information out there. By the way, now I provide one-on-one free consulting service for people who have problems in Agile project management. Remember to reserve a web call with me in the introduction as well. Yeah, thanks for your today's sharing. Yeah, I expect to work together next time. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I
Yeah.
appreciate.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me. Have a wonderful day. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Bye.